Funny about that is that I'm actually wearing the same outfit I was wearing in the intro. Matsu, what's up? So good to see you. Slow roast in the building. Yes, I'm very proud of that intro. Thank you very much. And I did just make it in time. Today was a crazy race to get here. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me. And yes, I hope everyone is having a very Eric flat Eric kind of day. What am I saying? You didn't come here to just listen to me word vomit all over the keyboard, did you? You came here because you heard that we were going to have a goat in the building. Today's guest shouldn't need any introduction, but intros are part of the gig, so I'm going to need everyone to give a big round of applause to the motherfucking DJ Craze. Woo! That's right, and the crowd goes fucking wild. Oh my God! Okay, amazing. I am so excited to have Craze, the actual factual GOAT, on today's program. He won the DMC championship, world championship, mind you, for battle DJing 3 times in a row, and had to just like walk away because they were like, you're never gonna stop winning, you're just like so good, like stop hurting everybody. He's the man with the golden decks, and he's got a spicy mouth. He isn't afraid to say what's on his mind, and he puts his opinions into his routines, which we're gonna get a little taste of today, don't you worry. Well, not like, he's not gonna like DJ through the thing. We're just gonna watch. Anyway, he lets his skills do the talking in more ways than one, and I am proud to say that he is a Miami icon I have had the pleasure of getting to know over the years. I've been blessed to chat with him a few times for Miami New Times, Billboard, and most recently Spin. He is always a pleasure to host, and it's an honor to have him. His routines regularly make me freak out. Like, I have to actually pause the videos so that I can scream and react and still absorb everything that's going on while I'm watching them. And we're gonna watch his latest routine, Tableism, at the end of today's show. But right now, we're gonna listen to his latest single. It's very summery bop. I'm really enjoying it. It features Palmer Reed, and it's called The Light. Stay tuned, because when we come back, DJ Craze will be on the line. Have your questions ready. This is your show as much as it is my show, which means that you are part of the conversation. So if there's anything you've ever wanted to ask DJ Craze but never really got the chance to, now's your opportunity. I promise he's gonna answer. I don't think I've ever asked him a question that he was like, I don't want to talk about that, but I'm sure that exists. Like, you know, but let's just enjoy. You know what? Let's enjoy The Light. And when we come back, DJ Craze on the line.
And the answer's in the sky, and there's knowledge in the raindrops, and the souls are in the eyes. Well, I try to understand it, make a compromise, but when you're living in the darkness, you get blinded by the light, the light. Don't get blinded by the light, I'm singing. Oh, raindrops, and the souls are in the eyes. Well, I try to understand it, make a compromise, but when you're living in the darkness, don't get blinded by the light, the light, the light. Don't get blinded by the light, I'm singing. Oh. They say the truth is in the water, and the answer's in the sky, and there's knowledge in the raindrops, and the souls are in the eyes. Well, I try to understand it, make a compromise, but when you're living in the darkness, don't get blinded by the light, the light, the light. Don't get blinded, don't get blinded, oh yeah. Don't get blinded, don't get blinded, oh yeah. Don't get blinded, don't get blinded, oh yeah. Don't get blinded, don't get blinded, oh yeah.
Oh, the rum. Oh.
And we're on. And we're live. Cheers, folks. No, but I don't want to deprive everybody of this deep lore. The only rum that you drink is quite specific. What is the rum that Craze drinks? Sponsored, not sponsored?
It's a Nicaraguan rum called Flor de Caña.
Flor de Caña. And you and what vintage? How old does this Flor de Caña need to be?
Well, the one that I like has to be 18 year. Yeah, they have like a 12, an 18, and then a 25, and then 100, and then
Damn, 100?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I got one of those downstairs waiting for the next pandemic. I got one of those. Chill. Yeah.
Let us hope we never open that son of a bitch. Let's hope that just stays.
Yeah.
Never to be drunk again. No, but shout out, thank you for coming. I'm having a beverage because our man Craze is having a beverage, and I don't want to get left in the dust. Yeah. I want to be on the same level. It's like, there's only so many chances in life to be on the same level as DJ Craze, and if this is the only way I can do it, I gotta do it.
Yay.
Oh my God, okay, Sword and Strike, thank you for making the joke that I wanted to make. She's like, 18 years, Drake would never.
Oh, shit.
So let the record show that it took 1.5 minutes for us to make a Drake Kendrick beef joke on the stream. I will get into like actual questions at some point, but I did this career day at a elementary school that I volunteer at yesterday in my neighborhood, and I'm not bringing that up because I want to virtue signal how great of a person I am, although it's true, I am the best. But I was asking all these kids like who their favorite musician is, or rapper, or singer, because I was trying to explain what a music journalist is, And a lot of kids were saying Kendrick Lamar, and one kid actually just asked me, he's like, "Do you like Drake?" And I was like, I have to say, I have been a big Drake fan for a while, but I know that, like, there's a lot going on. And it's so interesting to me that, like, the elementary schoolers in Fort Lauderdale are, like, talking about the Kendrick-Drake beef and all have a very strong opinion about how Kendrick won the Kendrick-Drake beef. I was like, that's culture, baby. That's
It's crazy. I mean, it was on the news. It was the biggest battle in hip-hop ever, in my opinion. And look how they turned on Drake.
I know.
Little kids. Like,
it's
crazy.
To be fair, I don't know. It's tough to even, in my opinion, like kids are like a really wild card market to begin with, you know, like what are fucking like 10-year-olds listening to, you know, like that could be anything that, you know, like I don't know if the Drake ever had them, you know, like Drake was probably old to them immediately because
I mean, how old were these kids though?
I'm saying, so they're elementary school, so like at the oldest fifth graders. So I'm
elementary.
That's what I'm saying. Like these are like kids that are like asking me how I feel about the Kendrick Drake beef.
And like, and why would they know? And how do they know? And it's like, whoa.
Yo, mom and dad are talking about it. I don't know.
I don't think fifth graders should have social media. I don't think fifth graders should have social media. Call me very old school, but like it's like what the hell?
It
Why do
is
these
crazy.
kids know about the Kendrick Drake beef? There's a lot of subject matter in that beef that they should not know.
Right? Like actually most of it, like honestly, like most of it. And then I'm out there like worried about the content that I'm sharing just in my like I had a cat calls playing on my computer off mute and everything because I was like, oh well, I want to like show them what I'm doing. And you know, every kid wants to be a YouTuber, so I was like, flex, like I had to like make content. But I was like, oh my god, like I can't, like we just casually cuss on the show, you know. So I was like, meanwhile, they're listening to the Drake and Kendrick beef, like analyzing every lyric,
talking about pedophilia and all kinds of crazy shit. So like, what the hell are they on?
You know,
they must have social media too. So like, that's what I'm saying. It's like they know of this battle either from their parents or from social media. And I'm guessing they got social media. So that is something that a fifth grader shouldn't be dealing with.
Yeah, it's pervasive. And you know, you're not only an old man, you're also a dad. So you get to talk about these things with like a little bit of, you know.
And my daughter is already like older.
I know. You have a grown child also who's already spinning her own D&B sets actually, which we're very excited.
I started early.
Gotta get to
she's
him.
Drum bass. She's making drum bass. Like she's her own little thing now.
It's so exciting. I knew also. Thank you to everyone for the subscription. Surround Makaspla. I am so bad at saying these names.
Oh, Matsu's in here.
Yeah, Matsu. Shout out Matsu. What school is this? Vu lives in Fort Lauderdale, and you want to send your kids to that school. Yeah, so that they can take Hip Hop Beef 101. Yeah, it's really key. It's really important. But, you know, I don't mean to just, like, immediately make you talk about the big topic of the day, but it is interesting because you are someone who has... I mean, you're like the battle DJ of all battle DJs. So, and like beefs are battles, you know what I mean? So like, what do you think about this biggest beef, as you said, in hip hop history, perhaps ever? Like, I mean, that's big words coming from you, but like any thoughts as a battle bastion?
Well, shit, man, I loved it because this is what hip hop is about, right? Like, when I got into hip hop was still being born.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was the era of, like, Tribe Called Quest, you know, De La Soul, but then there was NWA. Oh. And then, you know, it was being born, and everybody just wanted to be better than the next group. It was nothing about, like, sales or anything. Everybody was being creative, and everybody wanted to be the best MC. And me coming up as a DJ, I loved that because I was just like, oh, snap. Clout back then was props. And if you had all the props, it didn't matter how much money you had. You had all the props. You could do whatever you want. Like, everybody respected you, and everybody, like, you know, looked up to you, and everybody was like, that's the man. You had all the juice, as they would say back then. So that battle culture for me is what hip-hop is about. So when this one started, I was like, ooh, this might get crazy. And it started with Kendrick calling everybody out, and I love that because I'm like that. Like, I call everybody out. I love doing that. And he did it. Nobody responded. J. Cole responded. He dropped out, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. I've never seen somebody drop out of a battle in that kind of caliber. And then Drake took the bait, and it was just like, ooh. And then it just started getting crazy, and I was just like, the thing that I loved about it was that they gave us good music. Mm-hmm. Every single round was fire. Like, the worst round that I thought was the last Drake thing. I was just like, oh, he gave up.
Damn.
Like, it felt like he gave up.
Yeah.
It just felt like every time he started talking, I would just be like, what are you doing? Don't talk, rap. What are you doing?
Got to him.
No. Yeah, but it was great. It was great for the culture. It was not great for Drake. It was this was like the worst loss in hip hop. Like, but with Drake, all he has to do is like make one hot record and he'll jump back on.
Yeah,
like when Nas. Sorry.
No. Keep going. Yeah, drop knowledge.
Like when Nas made Ether against Jay-Z, everybody thought it was over for Jay-Z. And it wasn't.
Oh yeah,
all he had to do was
that's right. Yeah, remember when Jay-Z fell off? Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. Remember when he got smoked by Nas? Like everybody was like, "Ooh!" And then a couple months later, Jay-Z dropped an album, and it was like, "All right, back to business."
I love it.
Yeah, it was
Matsu,
amazing.
Drake talking outro was so cringe. But you know what? It's sometimes I have a little space in my heart for cringe because you know what I've always thought was kind of funny about Drake. What I've liked about him, beef notwithstanding, potential pedophilia claims notwithstanding, accusations allegedly no
small thing.
Yeah,
that's
I did always appreciate. I feel like when artists get to be that level so often. I was having this conversation with someone about Eminem later in his career, Kanye even later in his career. What is missing? What is that missing? And Eminem has had this statement about I don't think I'm as angry as I used to be. But I think actually it's they kind of lose their sense of humor and they start getting so serious about what they're doing. I mean, they take themselves so seriously because everyone takes them so seriously. And it becomes not there's no fun in it anymore. And Drake has honestly only become more goofy with time. He started goofy and he just kind of leans into the goofiness even. And that I appreciate. Not taking yourself too seriously ever, I do appreciate. I hope he's not having sex with children. I really hope that that's not the case.
But you see that word pedophile, that's a loose term because pedophile, I think little kids, 17, well, it's still pedophile, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
17-year-olds, it's what the hell? But the guy ain't a monster, like a fucking R. Kelly. That's a monster. He would roll up to high schools and stand there in his Hummer,
so uncomfy,
bumping his music.
So uncomfy.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate Drake because he's a battle rap fan. He goes to King of the Dot battles. And, he's part of the culture. Battle rappers like Drake because he's in the trenches. You feel me? So I appreciate him. Thought he could have done better, but hey, Kendrick is a monster. If Kendrick was a DJ, I would not want to battle him.
Wow, that's actually
anybody. But Kendrick, oh man, the angles that he took and the effort that he put into all stuff that he did, just little things that, just because Drake was telling him, don't, whatever. Now you gotta hit me with quadruple entendres, and he really did hit him with quadruple, five. I don't know what you call five.
Quintuple
entendres. Drake called them out and Kendrick responded and it was fire. So
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Thank Drake for making Kendrick
go
at this high level.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Brought it out in him. Bringing out the best. No, but I am glad that we started talking about hip hop because we had the chance to speak in December for the article and Spin that came out in January, and you were telling me for the first time that you got into this very much from a hip hop background. You were part of the Miami Zulu Nation chapter, and I thought that was fascinating. And I was also why have I never asked him how he learned how to DJ before? That seems like a really good question. But
that's a basic question, but yeah.
I guess I wouldn't normally ask DJs that, but a DJ such as yourself, I think that's fucking fair, and the table is a message, the video is all about your love for the art and everything, but specifically, because everyone can go read that article already and go read it. But specifically, I'd love to hear what did that era and having that place to go and having that actual built-in organization of community around hip hop culture in Miami, what did that bring to you? What did that bring to the community? What did that really mean and look like? And how do you remember it? Because I look around today and I'm not sure that same sort of like thing exists.
No.
And does it, and should it, does it need to? I don't know. Like, I would just love to hear from you what it was actually like and why, where, how, where is it?
Well, Zulu was really good for me because at that time I was a teenager and I wasn't lost, but I was not on the right path. You know, I was just hanging out with the boys, getting high, doing drugs, like all kinds of crazy shit.
Miami
and like
shit,
I wasn't
no.
in a yeah, exactly. And I wasn't like part of a gang, but that was like my gang, right?
Yeah.
And it was like we weren't up to good stuff. We were just always, you know, just trying to get into bad stuff. And when I met Zulu and when I got into hip hop, it was like this like enlightenment of like culture, and the music was empowering. The vibe was very like it was very empowering. It just made me want to learn more about things. It was like knowledge of self, and it was all about like, you know, mathematics and all kinds of stuff that I was getting into back in that time. And it was just like it felt good because like I was doing like I felt like I was getting I didn't feel like I was getting smarter. I was getting smarter. I was learning about things that I never knew about.
Yeah.
And like Zulu Nation, it was a gang, but it was like a gang of respect and empowerment and just like trying to get us to like be ready for the world. We were all teenagers, you feel me? So we were just like, and it was at the core of it was hip hop. Everything was about hip hop and the culture, breakdancing, DJing, rapping, graffiti. You know, everybody in there, everybody at the Zulu Nation meetings, they did something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they were trying to get good at something. I was like DJ.
Were you already DJ? Because I know you also told me that your older brother was DJing, and that was really instrumental to you learning how to DJ as well. So were you already playing around with DJing, and these people just encouraged you to continue and gave you a place to interact with other people doing it? Or was it something, what was the timeline?
Yeah. It was like I started DJing, I don't know, 14, 13, around that era. And then around 15, I got cool with this guy named DJ TMS, and he was already Zulu, and he was already like a DJ. He was in the battle scene, and he was just like kind of like took me under his wing. He was like, you should come to these Zulu Nation meetings. I went to the Zulu Nation meetings and, you know, just got down with them. And it was from there, like everything just happened. Because
so cool.
The Zulu Nation battles is what got me started. Those were the first ones that I won that were nationals. And then from there, everybody like started talking about me, and then I joined the DMCs, and then everything just got
That's
crazy.
really cool
But Zulu
because
Nation,
because they were right, like starting in New York and then spreading to obviously Miami, surely LA or something like that, probably places in between. But like that's so cool, and that brings me back to the other part of my question. Like I don't know of anything like that. And do you think it's just because the culture has gotten so big that sort of thing just can't exist anymore? Like why isn't there a structure for, is it just because it got too commercialized? I don't know, maybe there's no real answer to this, but I don't know, you were there, so I'm wondering like
it was like very centered in hip hop. And when hip hop started changing, everything started changing. Like I left hip hop, not left, but
you grew.
Just like I grew out of
it.
it.
You got other shit. You found things.
When Diddy fucked it up. And it was literally because of Diddy that I just like strayed away from hip hop, because the Jiggy era kicked in, and that was part of like the whole Versace and bottle popping and all that stuff. Like it got really flashy, and I mean I love Biggie, but he was part of the problem too.
Yeah.
But it was around '98 when all of this was happening, and it's crazy because like I don't know if you know who Stretch and Bobbito is. They're like these mixtape guys, and that they used to have like the show an underground show in New York, a university radio show, and they're credited for discovering a lot of people, even Eminem.
Wow. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, you should watch this the documentary about their radio show. I forget what it's called, but Stretch Bobbito. It's on Netflix probably, but. Stretch was talking about this in the documentary. He was like, at the same time that I got out of it, he got out of it, because it was just like hip hop just changed, and it became like this. It became this like pop thing, this machine, and like everybody went from like the core values of hip hop into like, all right, cool, now it's all about money.
Yeah.
You know, and then money came in, this whole era
Right.
kicked in of dumb down rap, and yeah, I got out of it. And I think to address your question, I think that's what happened. Like Zulu Nation was all about hip hop, and when that kind of era kicked in, you know, we were all kind of like the angry old guys already, because we were like, nah, this is not. We were like, nah, this is not what hip hop is about, and we got to fight this. And it was just like everybody was already moving on from what we thought was hip hop. So it was just very hard for us to stay together and keep that movement going, because hip hop was growing and we didn't want it to grow like that.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Pure.
It's so interesting to hear you put it that way too, because so at that point I was a kid just beginning to know what hip hop was, right? And granted, probably because it was being commercialized, so it started to reach me as a child. And, you know, because it probably would have taken longer. I mean, listen, my parents are pretty cool, but I don't think they were really listening to like Eric B and Rakim. They were listening to like a Tribe Called Quest, maybe. You know what I mean? But like I would have found it. But certainly I was hearing about Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls and Nas and all these things, and it's on MTV and all this stuff, Diddy. But I remember there being a bit of this like old head versus the young kids, and like what is hip hop, and obviously that never goes away. But I didn't have any skin in the game. I didn't fucking know. I was like, forever. Right. And then it's funny because I feel like my version of that was like getting really into what now people call Blog House, and like the excitement of that moment where it was like all these genres coming together, people just like breaking the rules of what music should be, and like everyone's just uploading songs to the internet, and it's just like whatever, this crazy style of like rock dance for whatever reason. And then that became like EDM, and then in like 2012, 2013, I was the angry old head, like this isn't what it was about, like which is on its own really layered, because you know there was the rave scene even before like I could go on, I could write a dissertation about like the differences there, but I know what it feels like to feel like wait, this isn't why we all came here, I thought. But then you can't tell someone why they came here, you know? Like, everyone's got their own...
I've seen so many of those eras, too.
I want to talk to you. I know.
I remember that era.
I wrote down in my notes, I was like, you are someone who has lived and participated in so many different unfolding eras. What has watching all those things, and if you want to list them, fucking list them off, but like... What has that shown you about, what has that taught you about music, and what has that also taught you about how to stand your ground? Because I know at every turn there's got to be someone else telling you, oh, you should do it like this, you should do it like that, you should keep up with this, you should blah blah blah, and you of all people do make a point to try to keep your head above the fucking water and be like, well, I'm trying to be about me. But it's got to be hard. Yeah. So there you go, the next 7-point question.
Yeah. So like I'll address all of them. So the first one is that, yes, I've seen a lot of eras come and go. And what's special about all of them is that underground feeling, that special feeling of people creating something new. With hip hop, it was the same. With Blog House, it was the same. With electro, it was the same. With Moombatone, it was the same. With dubstep, it was the same. With drum and bass, it was the same. Yep. Everything that comes from the underground it's dope to watch it grow. Like when I was going to London in like the early 2000s.
Oh my God! Please tell me how you found drum and bass. Yeah, please. Is that what? Is that where you pivoted to when you started to feel like hip hop was walking in a different direction that you could take? Like, how did you find drum and bass?
So drum and bass, some guy in Germany, in Munich, booked me off the strength of a mixtape. It wasn't even off the strength of me winning DMCs. It was just some mixtape that he got from one of my friends in Miami.
That's
and back
sick.
Then there was no
before the internet, like, yeah,
before the internet. So, I mean, you know, he was faxing me like the offers and all that stuff. Anyways, so I go to Munich, and I'm playing at this club. It was a decent sized club, like a Koyo, but in the back there was this huge room, and the main room, which that was drum and bass. I didn't know what the hell that was, and I was just like, all right, cool. So I finished my set, and I wanted to keep partying, and he was just like, well, we're going late for this music in the back called drum and bass, and I was like, I want to see that, and he was like, oh no, you might not like it, because back then, all the hip hop boys, we all thought that anything that was electronic was techno.
Yeah.
So like, I walk in and I'm like, oh, this is techno, and he's like, no, this is drum and bass. I'm like, techno, and he's like, no, drum and bass, and I'm like, all right, cool. But the guys that were spinning that night were DJ Hype, very hip hop influenced drum and bass junglist, and Shy FX, very yardy dance hall drum and bass.
Wow.
Perfect.
Right?
For my introduction.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
What the
So
fuck?
I was like, yeah, so like they were playing all these songs. They were playing Ready or Not, Here I Come with a jungle break. I was like, what the fuck? That's Ready or Not. And then Shy FX was playing Bambaataa, and Bambaataa is Rapper's Delight on 45.
Wow.
And it takes very long for the drop. So I was just like, this guy has Rapper's Delight on 45. And then when the bass came in, everybody was going crazy. And I was just like, this is the energy that I felt when I went to my first hip hop club.
Yeah.
And I was like, amazing. Everybody's here for the DJ. Nobody was there. This is around the time that hip hop was getting jiggy. So I was just like, wow, nobody's here for the MC.
Yeah.
Everybody's here for the DJ. And I was just like, boom. I was just like, and the guy that booked me, he owned a record store. And I was just like, tomorrow, I want all these records. You know what I mean? I'm going to buy all your fucking records. And
Damn.
And yeah, that's how I discovered drum and bass. And after that, it was a wrap. I came home and it was like my life was changed. I never looked back. So from like 99 to like 2006, I don't know what the fuck was happening in hip hop.
Yeah.
Like my friends always bug out because I'm not the biggest MF Doom fan. And MF Doom was blowing up around that time that I left.
Yeah,
So
that
it
makes
was just
sense.
like I missed that whole era because I was into drum and bass.
Wow.
I was going to London so much that I almost bought a flat out there, and it was just like that changed my life, just like hip hop.
Wow.
And then the third part of your question. Oh shit, what was the third part of the question?
I have to. I want to follow the thread so bad, but I did want to know, and maybe we circle back to this later. But I'm fascinated to hear your thoughts on, with all of those changes, what does that teach you about just like the nature of music? And you shared a lot. I think I love. I can feel it in my bones when you say like it's that underground feeling. It's that feeling of what the fuck is this? You know. But also like, what does it teach you about how to not get caught up in being so worried about every single time things twist and turn? Because sometimes I think there are opportunities where people like see a new thing and can incorporate that into what they're doing and have a lot of success with it. And by success, I don't mean make $1 million, but like authentically incorporate it into what they're doing, right? Because you and I are definitely people who look at success as being an authentic situation and not necessarily a money thing. But like, but there's also ways that maybe becomes like a burden, you know, where you're just like too concerned about it. I don't know. True, false,
I mean, you know, I've had a long career, but it's because I've always recognized when I'm bored of something, I just move on to the next thing. And when I move on to the next thing, that thing usually blows up. You know what I mean? Because my heart is in the underground.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't go to the underground on some, like, I want to be cool shit. I like the underground.
Yeah.
I like hearing new shit that I don't know. Like, I remember going to being in London and just, like, my friends being like, where you want to go? And I'm like, I want to go... I saw this flyer. I don't know none of these guys. I want to go there.
Yeah.
And then they would just be like, why? And I'm like, because I heard one of them was good, and I want to check out the vibe. And I would usually go to these clubs and just stand in the corner and be like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
One of the first times I went to London, I went to this club called Rumba for this crew called Movement, and there was this guy named DJ Markey spinning that night, and this guy is my top 2 or 3 in drum and bass. And I remember just standing in the corner. Nobody knew who I was. I was just standing in the corner, and I was just like, who is this Brazilian guy spinning drum and bass? This guy's amazing. You know what I mean? And that's the vibe that I like. So where I was going with this is I recognize where the vibe is going, and I see how scenes grow, right? And then everybody wants to, like, you know, make their money and, you know, bastardize it. And I'm just like, oh, fuck it. I recognize when that feeling is happening, and then I'm just like, all right, cool. What's the next thing I like right now?
Oh man.
And I think doing that first of all, makes me happier. And it just keeps me, it keeps me happy, and that's it, actually. Like,
Yeah.
it just keeps me happy. And like,
Yeah.
I never chase the money. Like, I never feel like there's a moment where I'm just like, oh, I got to do this kind of style just to like make this money, or I got to do this to make this money, or everybody wants me to do this, I should be doing this. I've never felt like that. I've always been like, whatever I like, I'm just gonna get into it, and if it hurts my pocket, it hurts my pocket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be happy as fuck.
I feel that. I do feel that. Like, you know, as I grow super cat worlds and everything, like, I gotta pay the bills, whatever I do, what I gotta do. But I get such a high on like making the stuff that is just like making my little brain be like, rah, rah, rah. I love this, I'm so excited. And there's nothing better than like running around your house by yourself because you're like so amped on what your stupid thing you're doing. It's addictive.
That's the point of life, just to be happy doing the little stupid things, you know what I mean? Like exactly.
It's true. Okay, I also want to shout out, first of all, how did you buy so many vinyl and fly internationally? Were you checking like crates of vinyl? Inquiring minds want to know.
I mean, yeah, back then I would just take like a big ass crate. I wouldn't take too many crates. I would, just one crate with like 50 records, and I'd have my little routines, and I'd have my things that I would do, and yeah, it was a different era, and it was crazy because like I went through a lot of records because I used to be one of those guys that switches the records and throw them shits on the floor, and the floor would be drenched with beer and cigarettes, and
oh,
I could
God,
wake up in
yeah.
the morning, look at my records like, what is this? It was hard traveling with vinyl, but thankfully when I started blowing up, the first DVS came out. The first digital vinyl system came out, which was Vinyl Scratch.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't have to deal with that. I didn't have to deal with that a lot. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was another moment though, where I know it was a moment where people are like, if you can't DJ on vinyl, like you're not even a real DJ. You know.
There was a kid that I just did a photo shoot in New York, and there was a kid like literally like 22, 23, or he was asking me, so how do you switch the music on the vinyl? And I was just like, oh, wow, I haven't heard this one in a long time. And I was like, well, there's this thing called DVS. And kids don't even understand that shit.
It's crazy.
They understand it with CDJs though, so I'm like, why don't you think it would be the same thing?
Yeah.
Except that we have a computer and these guys have a USB stick.
I mean, I don't know if it's still this way, but I remember like when EDM was first blowing up, I think there was a lot of like, what are they even doing on stage? And I think a lot of people still don't really understand what's going on, but I think people who like kind of make it part of their personality to like go to music festivals and be into DJs like probably essentially know how it works at this point, but I don't know. There's been a little bit of social education about the whole process, but
yeah, it's been like, the whole real DJing thing and all that stuff. Like, it's, it started with, again, it was, when EDM got big, everything changed from the DJ being important and actually doing something to now nobody really cares. And honestly, I don't even care.
yeah.
Because at a festival, it's not a time to flex. It's a festival. Everybody's there for the lights and for the sound. So like everybody, I'll say 98% of DJs at festivals aren't doing shit.
Yeah.
They're just
Saying
mixing
it.
things that are already on BPM.
Yeah.
They already know. Some of them have all the mixes already planned. Like, I have some of my mixes planned, but they're not really doing anything. Most of it is just, basically just showboating and just basically cheerleading. You know what I mean? And I used to think that was a bad thing, but like now I'm just like, it's a way different era.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to see somebody flex, you go to a club. You don't go to a festival to see somebody flex. Like, it's not a thing. Like, when I see people like posting like real DJing at a festival, I'm like, why? What are you doing? Nobody wants to hear a scratch right now. It's like, no.
That's funny.
But
I love it. No,
yeah, that's where we're at now.
I also, that's, you know what, that's also fucking fair. Do you think that it's like, I think sometimes as I get older too, and maybe it's just like by virtue of seeing more, and also just like if people are having fun, like people are having fun. That's kind of the idea. And like I still like, you know, I still put my critical thinking hat on, and I'm like, okay, if I'm putting my critic hat on and I'm talking about high art and like I'm trying to identify the art that's like really speaking to the culture or pushing the needle or whatever, that's a different thing from like, let that kid like that shitty fucking act that they like and just like let them have the time of their life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell any, I'm not gonna police anyone's good time, but like, sure, there's a difference between like, you know, trying really hard and not, but like, not gonna. What do they say? Don't yuck anyone's yum.
Like, I mean, I love seeing DJs that actually do stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big fan of James Hype, but I appreciate that he's actually takes, you know, some basic form of DJing and made it something that he could use. You know what I mean? Like, like looping and stuff. It's so basic, but it works. For me, you know what I mean? Like, and there's other DJs that like they, you know, they don't flex as crazy, but it's effective and for a rave. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's nice to see somebody do something, but is it a requirement now? I don't think so. Like, and people like, this is a hot take, because like people will be like, Craze.
I know.
And I'm like, it's just not at, you know, the right place and the right time for everything.
I love that. I like that as a take. I like the right place, right time. Before I forget to ask as well, Torden Strike was asking in the chat, because we know Torden Strike loves drum and bass. Do you think drum and bass is actually back? Like, you know how I always make this joke that like for years people have been like, drum and bass is coming back, drum and bass is coming back. Like, that's that one way to know a drum and bass head is they swear it's coming back. But like, is it actually coming back now, or is there a sense or I don't know, is there a bigger audience for it in the States? I saw you play wicked nasty drum and bass down the street a week ago. That shit was, whoa, my whole body was vibrating listening to some of those tracks, by the way.
It's crazy,
fucking crazy, but yeah.
I think right now it's where it was at in the early 2000s in the US. In the early 2000s, drum and bass was like at Ultra, the early Ultras. Yeah. It was big. I did a bus tour for drum and bass. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was exciting, it was new and everything. And I think that kind of feel came back. And there's, I mean, the excitement for it is there. Yeah. But of course, like with everything, US always takes it somewhere else. And like there was this interview that came out with some guys, I'm not gonna mention who they were, but they were like, we're bringing drum and bass to the US, we're saving it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We've been here. You know, we've been here. It's just dubstep took over and then other things took over. Yeah. Right now there is a resurgence for drum and bass, but it seems like it's only this one style that is being pushed in the festivals. Interesting. And that's my only concern, you know, because just like hip hop, you know, it has there's a lot of flavors, but only one flavor is being pushed to the kids right now. And it's like, oh, that's the flavor that's going to make it come and go. And that's what I don't like about everything, not just drum and bass and everything. You know, when this one watered down style gets pushed on people, I feel like that's dangerous. But I do love that it's getting its proper shine. You know what I mean? Like right now in EDC, like Worship closed out the main stage or some shit like that. And I was like, what the fuck? This is good. This is good for the scene. This is good. This is good. Yeah. Because they're converting kids to drum and bass. And then one of the kids that sees that probably, you know, is like, all right, cool. I want to hear the different sounds of drum and bass. Yeah. You know, so, like Book 'em was playing Liquid. Yeah. That was fire, you know? It was fire. Liquid and Jungle. Like, it's a different style, and there was a lot of people there enjoying it, so. Yeah, it was really fun. I was like, it's funny, I got out there, and I was like, I'm only gonna stay till, like, 3 or 3:30. I can't, and then I'm, like, there, and they're like, okay, you have to leave, the lights are on. Like, I was just like... Fire. I don't know how to leave. I talked my buddy into coming and meeting me there, and he was like, he had just won a bunch of money at, like, the Hard Rock or something, and he was like, I'm in! He was like, fuck yeah. And then he was like, I can't leave. Grace isn't letting us leave. I was like... And the other good thing about drum and bass is that with a lot of, like, house right now is the most popular thing, right? It's like for festivals. that 4/4 beat can get a little monotonous.
Yo,
so when
you're
you hear
fucking
drum and bass,
telling me.
it kind of like it excites you, and it's like it helps you stay at the party. The
That's
only
true.
problem with drum and bass is you can't get out of it.
Now
Like,
you're
when
stuck.
when I'm doing clubs and I try to play different styles, as soon as I get into drum and bass and switch it back to something else, the vibe changes. Everybody starts leaving.
Wow.
Like, you can't go to drum and bass and then
Oh
come
yeah,
back.
it's such a fucking like 11, you know?
Like, it's like the peak of it, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah. But yes, to answer his question, yes, the excitement is there for drum and bass, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yes. Hell yeah. Me too. That was the era when I started going out to raves in South Florida, actually. And I was, going to all ages events and house parties and things like that. And it was a good time. And drum and bass was huge. Drum and bass, particularly in South Florida, was huge, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And all that, yeah.
yeah. And then soon after that, mid 2000s is when I started to go in the, what they now call Blog House, like the Daft Punk, the Justice, the Mastercraft, the Boys Noise, all this. What was your experience of that next shift, and what did you find exciting? And I don't know, tell me more about your journey, because I kind of like started to interact with you a few years after that. And then after that, I kind of like, I know, but like, I don't know, like connect the dots for me a little bit.
Well, one of my best friends is A-Track, right?
Right.
And so I'm into drum and bass, and he discovers Daft Punk. He discovers house music. He discovers all this. And before that, A-Track used to hate EDM.
Yeah.
A-Track used to think everything was techno too. But he discovers all this new music, and I just see him start growing in this scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, all this music. And he kind of like just puts me onto all this music. And then I just remember all the electro stuff. First of all, I didn't like that it was called electro, because electro for me was Egyptian Lover.
Right.
And
right. I always felt like
yeah.
that was kind of a misnomer, but that's what I called it, because that's what we called it. You know what I mean? Like that's why I always say what we now call Blog House, because like no one fucking called it that. That wasn't a thing. No one was fucking saying that. You know what I mean? It was like, that's like
called it Fidget House.
Yeah. I was like, whatever. I remember talking to my friends like, what is this?
It's the same thing that happened with rhythm. It was just like, rhythm.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with dancehall culture. Why you calling
right.
it rhythm?
Yeah, right. That was my first question too. I was like, wait, I don't understand. Why is it? I get caught up because I'm too stupid and dumb and smart for my own good. I don't know.
So I remember A-Track being into like Justice and Daft Punk and Boys Noise and all that. Singing Mobile Disco. He was into that kind of stuff. And then I remember hearing Crookers. And I was like, wait, hip-hop boys are doing this now. Like, who are they? And he was like, oh, those are my boys from, where were they from? Italy? Yeah, from Italy, yeah. Yeah, he was like, oh, those are my boys from Italy. Like, you should really check out their music. And then I heard all their stuff, and I was like, ooh. And then kind of like the Fidget House was coming in.
I loved all that shit, too.
My boys that used to be battle DJs started a crew called Jack Beats. And I was like, oh shit, what are you doing, guys? Like, this is crazy. And then that whole thing became into this wobbly bass house thing that was, like Crookers, Jack Beats, Fake Blood.
Oh, so good.
Boy 8-Bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the vibe that I got into, because I was just like, oh, this is like more hip hop, less French, and I'm wearing all black. You know what I mean? Like, I like that music, but I just couldn't vibe with it. I was like, ooh.
I hear you.
Yeah, and then Fake Blood used to be this famous graffiti
artist, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I freaked when I found that out.
So I was just like, oh, this is the vibe. So again, with like every genre that I've been in, I got tired of it. Yeah. With drum and bass, I got kind of like tired of the politics of it. It was a very dub plate culture. Like, it was a very dub plate, and everybody needed to have the dub plates, and nobody wanted to give me dub plates. Right. And I was just like, I'm tired of chasing you guys. And then dubstep was coming in, so I'm like, wait, I don't even have to be spinning drum and bass anymore. Like, the cool shit is dubstep now. So it's dubstep and Fidget House, and I was just like, I'm gonna be here now where all the bass guys are. Yeah. And I kind of like moved myself from drum and bass into that stuff. I wasn't into production, so I wasn't really producing stuff, but I was like kind of like just kind of like in the scene. Like I was the guy that connected Treasure Fingers to 8-Track.
Yeah,
and
love
I was
that.
the guy, and I was the guy that helped Kill the Noise become Kill the Noise.
Yeah.
With Slow Roast.
Yeah.
Like, we started a label because he was just like, hey, I got this Kill the Noise project. I saw what you did with Treasure Fingers. Can you give 8-Track my demo? And I was like, sure, I'll give him the demo, but like I think you need to start your own shit. And then we started Slow Roast. And that's when that whole thing happened. And that's how I kind of like stayed in that scene and kind of like just did behind the scene things. And after that era, with Slow Roast, is when I discovered Moombahton.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't discover it. No, I mean, I personally discovered it.
Right, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I discovered it.
We all, well, I know the history of Moombahton. I remember that was like around the time when I think I came back from college and like started going to Grand Central all the time. I mean, R.I.P., the fucking best venue. I know I feel really that way. Do you feel that way? Was Grand Central the best fucking club in Miami?
For Miami, yes. For Miami, it was definitely the spot that like, it was just the coolest spot.
Those parties were fucking amazing.
Everybody was doing their own thing over there at Space, and then Grand Central was where all like the cool kids were at.
Yeah, it was so good. I love it was just a fucking giant empty fucking box with a good sound system and like one wall of lights behind the DJ.
That's what all the good clubs are. All the good clubs are. Just a big empty space, some sound systems, and some like dope DJs, and that's it. That's all you need.
Fucking sick.
Like, when it gets to the festival level, that's cool and all, but the underground is where it's at. Yeah. You want just a nice little and a sick ass sound system.
It really is.
Shit, Fabric just got voted #1 club in the UK again.
Wow.
And it's literally my favorite club. And it's like, wow, that club has been there forever, and that's just what it is. It's just like a bunch of rooms, dope sound systems, and they just book the dopest guys, and
it's the best. I love it. Well, I'm fascinated to hear all that, and I liked hearing all the behind the scenes stuff too. I think that like I didn't realize that you were connecting so many people, but it makes sense. And like I did know about DJs and some of their backstories and how they used to DJ under a different name or make tracks under, a different style of track under a different name. You, as far as I know, have never really been let me change my alias, let me do this, let me do that. You've kind of just like stayed Craze the whole time, which I guess goes back to that, you wanting to just kind of stick with your own thing.
It was kind of not a good business move.
Yeah.
But, and going back to what you just said, because like I'm writing a book, and my boy, I'm writing a book, and like my boy has this homie in LA that he showed the book to, and the homie shopped it to some people that are producers for series and shit like that, for TV stuff. And I had a meeting with them, and they were just like, they were talking to me, and they wanted to shop the series to me, because I was just like, why are you guys interested in my book? And like, what is it that you, because like they were like, we want to make it a series.
I love that.
Shop it to Netflix. And I was just like, what makes me special? Like, shop it to me. And they were just like, well, you're like the Forrest Gump of DJ.
I fucking love that.
And I was like, what? Like, I took it like I was just like, wait.
You're like, shit do happen. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, and they were just like, well, no, we don't mean it in a bad way. We mean that you were there and connected the dots for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, you were behind the scenes for a lot of things that people don't know of. Like, you were like the Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were just accidentally merging things and merging people with other people and making things pop off, and you don't even know that. And I was just like, and then they started naming all the things that I did, and I was just like, oh shit, yeah, kinda. I'm the Forrest Gump of DJing.
I need that merch.
Yeah.
I love it. DJ is as DJ does, or whatever.
That's fire. I'm gonna use that. But yeah, I was just going back to what you said, because it was like I was there to like, fucking do all that stuff. But it was because I was like, oh shit, Treasure Fingers, this song Cross the Dance Floor is amazing.
So fucking good, yeah.
You need to give that to 8-Track. He just started a label, and he's like, oh, you think you'll be interested? I'm like, of course he will. And I'm like, 8-Track, listen to this.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? Craze. Craze, actually.
Crazy.
Joey.
And I still like, that's what I love about running a label. Like, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I'm here for. I love discovering new things. I
Yeah.
love putting people on that need a bigger platform.
Yeah.
That's my biggest joy.
I
Yeah.
fuck with that too. I mean, and I think there's so much, that's such a good thing to do too, you know, like just giving folks who really have a vision a platform is just like so awesome, because there are so many people who will just like nickel and dime art till it's fucking dead inside of just like, I don't know, do you think, I think maybe are we moving away from the era where, if you can speak to this, where everyone is just so dependent on like, what is your social following? What is it? Like, I don't think that'll ever like hurt you, but is it like as necessary to anymore? I don't know. Does that question track? Like, yeah, really. It's just like, that's it.
I think that's all it is now.
Yeah.
It's a weird era. Like, everything is content driven. Like, I've had like 2 or 3 managers that, like, you know, they don't give a shit what I do. They're only trying to get me to do more content, and only trying to get me to do this and that and that and that. And I'm just like, wait, guys, what about the music and the shit that I actually do? Like,
I always feel like, and this is, maybe I'm an asshole for proposing this, I feel like the manager should manage that stupid shit for the artists so the artists can make art.
I'm saying.
I feel like that's literally your fucking job title.
Exactly. I mean, some do. Like,
right,
some do.
Right.
It's a thing that they do. But, you know, the whole thing, and this is how I look at things, right? The whole thing of like having to do things to keep your engagement going. It's like, oh,
yeah, it's a lot.
So, like, it makes me not want to even do anything.
Yeah.
Like, thinking of new ways to engage with my crowd and boom, 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 boom. And I'm just like, why the fuck do I want to engage with these motherfuckers? Like, I feel like Doja Cat sometimes. You feel me?
Right. I know. I do not
guys,
begrudge her a single fucking thing she said. I honestly think it's
something,
hilarious.
like,
she's like, I don't know you. And I'm like, that's true. Like, she doesn't fucking know you people.
But check this, right? Like, the thing is that this is the new norm.
Yeah,
So So when you talk to people that are young, they're just like, that whole thing about just being for the art, it's different. Now you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, Tiger. I don't see the people that are prolific in their art doing this.
Right.
I don't see the Kendricks. I don't see the Flumes. I don't see the K-Tronadas. I don't see the Carmax. I don't see the Troy Boys. I don't see the people that actually are the most amazing people doing content. The people that are doing content and doing the most are the people that honestly aren't the best at what they do. So they're just doing that because they want gigs and they need to be doing it to keep the engagement, to keep interest in them. I need to be doing that because I'm getting older. But I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I don't like doing this shit. It's so, like, you could see through it too. Like, you could see, you know, like some of my boys, and I won't call them out, when they do it, I'm just like, oh, cringe. God, I know this is not what they want to be doing, but they're doing it because they have to. And, you know, I have to listen to them because I'm like, I have to be doing this too. Like, it's, you know, like sometimes I go out and kids don't know me now, and I'm just like, oh shit, it's a different era.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's an eye opener. But I'm just like, I'm from that era where, okay, so I saw something with Rick Rubin today, and some guy was trying to make Rick Rubin look bad because what's the guy with the funny hair? He's British. He's the most amazing musician. He's like a little weirdo guy.
God, there's so many weirdo British dudes who are amazing.
The best musician guy from the UK. Like, literally, he
of like
is the
any
most amazing.
Music or like a certain genre.
No, he's just a musician. He's like the guy with the crazy.
The Jacob Collier guy who's like really. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I got it. Yeah, I know he's like astounding. It's like he's amazing. Like obviously like some mad genius. Yeah.
This guy was like. He had a clip of Rick Rubin saying, you know, artists are not here for people. We're here for ourselves, and we do the best shit that we want to do. And if they like it, that's our gift to everything. Like, this is what we do. Like, boom, boom, boom. And then there was a clip of what's his name again?
Jacob Collier.
Yeah, there's a clip of Jacob saying like, no, you can make music for people, and you can do content, and you can do this, you know, in a good way, and boom, 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 boom. And the guy's like, yeah, love you, Rick Rubin, but it's like this now. And I'm like, oh shit.
But see, but the difference. Also, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No worries.
I hear what Jacob is saying, and like all the respect in the world to Jacob, and obviously he's very good at it. But like, I think there's a difference between some people who enjoy doing that. Like, I personally, like, I enjoy being on camera. I enjoy making whatever the fuck and fucking with videos and doing whatever stupid million projects I have. But I have friends that are really talented writers and art critics and journalists who don't love that. And so for them, that is like not fun and is not like rewarding. And I think that it is, you know, some people, it's unfortunate that some people have to be forced to do something or should feel forced to do something. But to your point,
some people want to do it.
Right, and some people want to do it, and so therefore it is good, and you can be good at it and enjoy it. But if you're just doing it because someone's like telling you, yeah, it's like.
But he was kind of like saying like this way of thinking that you're just an artist is not it no more. And
but
I was just like, okay, I don't want to be doing anything no more then.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to wake up and create.
Same.
I don't want to have to worry about anything else. You know what I mean?
Same. And I actually respect, exactly like you were saying, the artists who like give themselves the time and space to make what they really want to make. And I, you know, especially with this year, you know, Justice's album out and the tour, and I think them are the same way, right? Like, they don't make an album for 8 fucking years. They don't post a goddamn thing to social media. They're not fucking doing shit. You'll never see a selfie of them in their life. Like, and then they're just like, oh, hello, here's our album. You know, like, we hope that you like it. Yeah, exactly. My belt
I
buckle.
love that shit.
Me too. I fuck with it because it gives you permission to be an artist who just wants to be a fucking artist. You know what I mean?
But I also love the fact that I don't know shit about them. I don't know anything about them. It makes it cooler to me. You know what I mean? Like,
mystery.
Like when I meet somebody that I've been following on the internet, I already know who they are.
Yeah.
So I meet them and I'm like, oh, what up, man? What's good? And I'm just like, I just met him in real life. Nothing.
Right.
But when I meet somebody that I'm like, ooh, I don't know shit about this person, that shit makes me feel like, oh, this person's special. And I'm like, I become a fanboy. You feel me? I'm like, oh, what up, man? Like the first time I met Falloon. I mean, but this was like a long time ago. Falloon was a bad example.
But still, if it's the first time,
like, I mean, and that's what I love about Skrillex. That's what I love about, like, you know, all the homies that don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know how they are. We hang out, but I love that they're so quiet and so, like, they don't do the most. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a cool feeling.
Yeah.
And so I don't really dig this whole era of like content. And I mean, I know why they do it. I'm just older.
Yeah.
I'm just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I come from a different era. I was born
and I
in the
come in
1900s.
peace. And I come in peace.
And I come in peace.
I was gonna say, I do think that at least you do have that in your back pocket, that like maybe you'll play a show somewhere and maybe some kid in the audience doesn't know who DJ Craze is, but they're gonna fucking find out. I can promise you that. They're gonna go home and they're gonna be like, yo, DJ Craze.
I love that too. Like when I put out that Tableless video, I got a lot of DMs of kids saying like, I don't know shit about you. That was amazing.
Yeah,
and then
really
I was just like, all right, you should go check out New Slaves. And then they would go check that shit out. Like, wait, what the fuck? You're like a DJ champion? And I'm like, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal in my city.
Ask your
like,
favorite DJ about me. Just go ahead, do a little.
Are those like real vinyl? Like, it's fire.
That shit is
like,
nice. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I actually wanted to chat about that very weird phenomenon. And like, I feel like only in the last year and a half have I really started to realize like my own like place in the greater cultural context. Like, you know, you come at stuff with this like fire of like, I'm gonna fucking prove myself. I'm out here. I'm working hard. I'm trying to do something. And then all of a sudden you look around and you're like, oh fuck, like what? Everybody knows. Like I'm not like, I don't know, like whoa, I did it, you know. Like, I guess I've contributed something. And that's a really weird, crazy feeling, but it's also sick because then it kind of like lets you know that you've got like, you're contributing to the greater conversation or the culture. Or you're like, you know, your work has meaning and people are watching. And when did that kind of realization happen for you? And I love that you did what you did with Tableism, because that feels like such a beautiful, like, well, since I have a platform and a voice and respect, what can I fucking teach you motherfuckers about something in a nice way, in a kind way, in a sentimental way.
The way you wrote that piece, I was like, exactly.
Okay,
you know what I mean? That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I intended to show with that thing. But when I was battling and I was winning nothing, I wasn't caring. I just wanted to fuck everybody up. I was on some Kendrick shit. I was just like, I'm the best. Nobody can fuck with me, so I'm just gonna keep proving it and proving it and proving it.
Yeah.
And like that's all I wanted. I just wanted to I wanted to walk in a room with a bunch of DJs and have that fear. You know what I mean? Like I want everybody to be like, oh fuck, Craze is here. Shit. Like you know what I mean? I love that. I love that now. You know what I mean? I still love that feeling of like, ooh, that motherfucker shook. So in the beginning, it was all about that shit. Really, what it is some b-boy shit. It's the shit that makes Kendrick act crazy. It's the shit that makes Drake act crazy. It's that b-boy element, and that's all I wanted. I never knew I was influential until like years later when I was just like, kind of like gone out of turntablism, and people were just like, damn, man, we're not gonna battle again, and like, oh shit, and I was just like, what's there more to do? And they're just like, yo, you don't even know how to use the game. Like you were like this, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah, I kind of did change the game. And, you know, it took years for me to even think about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then after it was like, 5 years of me not doing any routines. I was just into drum and bass. Native Instruments came out with some new shit. And I was just like, I'm going to make some futuristic shit with this. And it was my Native Instruments routines, videos. And then that was me inventing some new shit. Yeah. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Craze is still on that shit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I'm still the guy. And I haven't stopped making videos. Yeah. And Tableism is going to be the last one. And
it's gonna be the last one, or it just is the last one? Yeah, I'm like, come on.
That shit, you know what? With Tableism, it was because I'm a hypochondriac. So I'm always thinking, what if I die?
That might be the Scorpio in us. I think we just have a fucked up dark mind. Because I unfortunately think about that a lot.
If I break a nail, I'm like, is that cancer? Is that where that nail came off? What's going on here? You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
I'm always thinking the darkest shit.
WebMD was a dangerous tool in humanity's toolbox. Like, no one should allow any of us to Google what the fuck does that mean.
Oh yeah, WebMD sucks. But yeah, with Tableism, it was kind of like that feeling of like, if I die tomorrow, I need one last statement of like why this culture is so dope, and like, because I see Tableism and DJ culture dying. It's like nobody takes it to another level. Like all my peers, and it's no disrespect to them, they don't take it to the levels I take it because they're just like, why would I do something crazy like that nobody understands or values when I could do a little content video of me doing the dumbest shit, being a fucking clown, and I'll get more likes and, you know, and more attention. Like all I have to do is like have this dick joke or this or this like little don't play or have like, you know, some dumb shit and people go crazy. Like, my shit was like a fucking movie.
Oh my God, it's like, so good. Yeah, it's so good.
Like, it was like, it had emotion. It had everything that content doesn't have that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
So, it's like, when I do things like that, that's when I'm like, ooh, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That makes me feel special. I don't give a fuck who likes it. I'm just like, that's the only reason why I do it. You know? It brings me joy. It gives me goosebumps. And that's all. And like, after, like, I always tell people, like, when Rock Raider passed away, R.I.P., that part of turntablism passed away with him. When my idols pass away, like when a Q-Bird or somebody like that passes away, that passes with him. Nobody can do what that guy does.
Yeah.
And nobody has been able to reach that level. When I pass away, same thing. It hasn't reached to my level, and I'm dumbfounded. Why not? I'm old. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why haven't you guys?
You're like, someone should have taken my place by now. Like, where's the fucking shit that's gonna do it?
Like,
yeah.
I don't feel happy. No, I'm happy that no one has. But I'm just saying, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
Hey guys, like, I'm getting older. I mean, I'm getting better, but I'm like, at some point, somebody's gonna have to take over. Like, when I pass away, is my point that it's gonna die with me. So I have to keep putting these things out into the world so, like, they last forever. Because, like, when I'm gone, those videos are gonna stay.
I know. Shout out the healthy kombucha as well. I see you mixing it up.
Oh yeah. You gotta take care of the digestive and then fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. We have to have a nice even playing field so that we can just destroy ourselves. It's true. Especially as we get older. No, but that's such a wonderful and also just like heavy statement. Like, it's true. I think that, I hate to be that old head, but I also am, and I get it. I was a kid who sought out the history of music because I wanted to know it, and I respected the lineage of things, and I think because I'm just so fascinated by, like, how this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, and, like, how did we get here kind of thing. And I mean, I think even at the time, it's not like everyone was doing that, but I don't know. It is important to know the history of things, and I think there is in a certain part of the generation, there's a moment of like, I don't need to know who so and so is, or like, why do I need to know? And it's like, because you're just gonna be like fucking way better than you are right now if you actually like learn some of the history. It's not just because you should respect your elders type of thing. You're gonna get fucking better. You're gonna learn some tricks,
And this I think this might be an old head take, but I think that's just the new generation. And like, not even just this new generation. It's been like 2 or 3 generations like leading up to this, because the coolest shit for my generation was to do the knowledge on who was there before you.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Same.
That's why funk records was crazy guys. Like, soul records to us was like, gotta go digging. That's why in my era, like, the digging culture was so huge, because you wanted to know where these things came from. You wanted to do the history. Like, when I was getting into DJing, I was just like, all right, who invented the scratch?
Yeah.
Like, I was all right, that baby scratch, I got it. No, I was just like, who did the baby scratch? I want to meet that guy. I want to say thank you to that guy. That guy is the reason why I'm here. Like, it was a different way of thinking about things. Like, when kids are like they're like, oh, I don't want to hear that Rakim or that old shit. I'm like, well, Rakim is actually like a poet, and he's like really amazing. It's like, he's like, like the stuff that I'm hearing now has no kind of art value to it. It's just club value, like art, club, art. I'm gonna go art. They don't do the research, because I feel like nowadays everybody thinks they figured it all out.
Right.
Because they have social media. Like, the worst thing I hate seeing on social media is somebody being like, so if you add 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah. And I'm just, it's like those guys that want to give you these jewels about life.
Right. Yeah. True.
I'm like, hey guys, if you follow good vibes, you're gonna be around people with good vibes. You're welcome. And I'm
that's
like,
on God.
You figured it all out.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Fucking genius.
It's like that
Great.
It's like, it goes back to, I like Zen Buddhism and stuff, so I always relate things to, like, but this whole idea of, like, if you think you know something, like, you probably don't, like, and the more you learn, the less you're sure you know fucking anything at all, and, like, it's like, you start off a hater, and one day you go, it doesn't matter if they're really DJing at EDC Las Vegas, who gives a shit? Like,
exactly. That's what I'm at. You never figured it all out. Like, I'm in my older age, and I know that that's the one thing that's for sure.
Yeah.
You never figured it.
You don't.
You
and
never
you're gonna get such a high off of figuring out a new thing too. Like that's what maybe these kids they need to have some more fun with. I don't know. I'm an old lady crotchety bitch, but I don't know. But I think
like every time something happens on social media, that's like right now everybody's just like, oh shit, this Diddy thing, and I'm just like, all right, well now everybody got this figured out.
Yeah.
Right, but watch the next thing comes out.
I know.
But anyways, now the one's cooking.
No, I feel like I don't know, but in that same way, the only real thing you can be sure of is that nothing's gonna stay the way it is right now. So who knows what's coming, There might be someone out there. I mean, Kendrick's kind of one of those people who's like really fighting for the fucking original culture, pushing the fucking envelope, pushing the needle. Oh, I don't know why my phone started talking. So like some kid out there is listening to Kendrick thinking they're gonna want to be Kendrick one day, thinking they want to go that route.
Oh, yeah,
and like
no.
there's gotta be some some anti-reaction to the bullshit is gonna come at some point. Maybe the Kurt Cobain of social media is gonna come out and be like, I don't fucking do social media.
I think right now it's a very exciting time. I feel like things are going like this when it comes to like culture.
Yeah.
Things with like I feel like right now everybody's I'm discovering new music all the time, and I'm just like, oh shit, people are back to this. You know what I mean? Like everything is coming back.
I know.
Drum and bass.
I was laughing.
Just with music in general.
I was laughing thinking about like people digging, and I'm like, man, But then you hear all these songs that are just like 90s songs repurposed as beats, and I'm like, ooh, does that count as digging now?
yeah. Like rediscovering things is digging.
Yeah,
you feel me?
It is.
But like, hell yeah.
It's
like
funny.
I mean, that's why dubstep is so big right now. Like kids are like, what is this sound?
Yeah.
That came out like 10 years ago. And they're like, oh shit, that's dubstep? Yep, that's before rhythm. And then everybody's like back into that.
That's so funny. Do you are you at a point where you just shake your head and you're just like, I'm the fucking wise man in the corner, just like listening to everybody?
I'm at that George Carlin period of my life where like I don't even give a fuck no more.
Yeah.
I gave up. I'm just here to do my thing, have a good time. The clock's ticking, so I'm just having a good time.
I love that.
And like, I just want to do as much fire shit as I can before it's up.
I fucking feel that. I think that's a beautiful note to wrap this conversation. We've gone a little over the usual time, but I don't care. I love having this conversation with you, and I personally appreciate you as an artist who does your own thing. We're aligned on that. I love artists who stick to their guns, because for me as a creative person, like I said, I think that just gives license to other creative people to feel like they can also do that. You know what I mean? And I think there's been moments where that mindset has been maybe more successful, but I don't know if it's ever actually been the most prevalent mindset. So maybe we just have a scarcity look at it, but it's always a little bit and that's why it's underground, and that's why it's all these fucking things.
And when you're not happy on top, go underground.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna follow you around one day, and you find a flyer, and I'll follow you. I'll be like, where's Craze party?
Yeah. We gotta go to London though. That's where everything.
I would love to. Let's fucking go. I want to go. What's coming up for you? Shout out everything you want to promote and whatever is good in the Craze universe.
So I just came back from New York. Me and Matsu are working on our Omakase project. It's a house project. It's forward-thinking kind of stuff.
That's exciting. Definitely put me on, Matsu, in the chat.
For sure. That, we're on another level now. Like, and I like that because we both agree that we should just be doing forward-thinking house, like not just making whatever.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
I got a project with TB and Palmer Reed called Greater Than. That shit is nuts. It's like award-winning drum and bass. That's how I tell everybody. It's just award-winning. It's TB, and like me and Palmer, we're just creating with them, and it's like it's trust me, when you hear this music, you're gonna be like, oh, I remember him telling me about this shit.
Hell yeah.
On my solo tip, I have my drum and bass EP that I'm almost done with. I have like these 2 dubstep tunes that I'm gonna put out. I'm pushing with Matsu on Slow Roast. We're pushing a lot of the new baile kids coming out of Brazil.
Yeah, that's sick.
The forward thinking baile. Like these kids are like the next level. This kid Karan is like, I mean, Skrillex is playing his music and he's like, oh my God. He's like this 18-year-old kid from somewhere in Brazil and he's like a genius.
Love it.
So that baile as a genre, that kind of baile as a genre is going to blow up next year.
I'm excited. Craze Stradamus out here calling it.
And then like just shows coming up. I'm going to Rampage in July. Going to Tennessee this weekend. Just shows are just like always popping, but yeah. And then I just like being in here, making music and creating, and that's it.
I love it. Never stop. I know. You'll be like, I don't know what else to do with my hands, so I guess I'm just gonna keep
nothing else to do. There's no other thing to do.
That's awesome. Fuck yeah. Shout out. Thank you so much for coming. This was so fun. I really appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. And I can't wait to come check it out. I got to come to one of the Koyo nights. Are you still doing them on the monthly basis? What's going on?
Yeah, the next one is with John First. You want to come to that one. That one's gonna be fire. He's from the UK and he does like a lot of like juke footwork kind of.
Is that like next Thursday? Because is it the last Thursday of every month? All right, I've been put on. I've been told I need to go. That's cool.
I'll see you at the bar.
Yeah, I see you there. All right, thank you. I'll see you next time.
Peace.
Good night.
Peace, cat. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Yay, we did it. Oh man, I meant to ask who would he want to play him in the docuseries. I did mean to ask that, Joey. Woo, that was fun. Craze is just such a blast. So easy to chat with. That was just an easy one. I had my notes, but what a great convo. I hope that all of you felt inspired by that conversation. I really feel inspired by every interview, every artist who just has that dedication to their craft and pushing the needle forward. That is what it's all about to me. That's what I like to see. And dumb fun can be pushing the needle forward too. You know, it doesn't have to be highfalutin to push the needle forward. It's just got to be good and soulful. I love it. I can't wait to hear what he's cooking up with Matsu. That sounds really fun, and everything there. Those baile artists, I really want to hear that too. We're all gonna have to keep our eyes peeled on Slow Roast and Craze's Instagram. I'll drop some links. Also, keep your eyes peeled to this channel. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that. Because this is Cat Calls, and I do it mostly every other Thursday. I will not be having a Cat Calls next Thursday, but I will be back on June 13th. Actually, yeah, I'm taking 2 weeks off, and then I'm coming back June 13th with David Sinopoli. He is the man with the plan, one of the owners of Club Space down here in Miami, and is the man who puts 3 points together, and is also one of my homies from college. So that's going to be a really fun one, and that's going to be right after 3 Points drops phase 2 of their lineup, which is going to be massive. That doesn't mean anything. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have Molly Otto, who's got an amazing single coming out tomorrow on Bitbird, and an EP coming as well. So stay tuned and check out some of the older episodes of Cat Calls while you're at it. I just had Lily Moyeri, one of my bestie music journalist friends, and we had San Holo, and we had, who else did we have? We had Chet Porter. Chet Porter. All of a sudden I was like, is that wrong? It's been a whole ass day. I'm so glad to have seen you. Thank you, Matsu. Thank you, Surround. Thank you, Joy Headset. Thank you, Jerry US. Thank you, Torrent Strike. Thank you, everybody in the chats. Thank you, Sean. And if you were watching and you didn't talk in the chat, why? Why didn't you say hi? I see you lurking. Yes, Molly Otto of Morton fame. So we're going to be bringing her out of the chat and on to the show. Is there anyone you'd like to see on Catcalls? Join the Discord. Let me know. Hit me up on social media. Let me know. Follow Cat Scrawls, my newsletter, for more fun. If you would like to hear my crazy theory that is actually like wildly accurate about why Daft Punk and Justice are the same band, well, I just published that newsletter, so you should go read it. And more fun stuff coming soon. I love you all. This is Tableism. We're going to let the GOAT talk us out. Just let the GOAT fucking do his thing. And follow Craze. Follow Slow Roast. Shout out the GOAT. Here we go.
Turntablism, the art of manipulating sound in the spirit of a musical instrument using turntables, an audio mixer, and vinyl.
The first idea is me coming to grips with what I'm feeling at the moment. You know, these are some of the first initial ideas, coming across music. I sit with beats, we create them from scratch, and I just sit and live with it until I'm able to reach that point of
whole nother level. Whole nother level.
This is what I feel like. I want to keep doing it every time, period. And to do it every time, you have to challenge yourself and you have to confirm to yourself that you're the best, period. No one can take that away from me, period. And that's my drive, that's my hunger, I will always have. This point, and at this point right now, the years and the time and the effort and the knowledge and the history, I've done on the culture and the game I've gotten from, those before me and the respect I have for them. This is culture. This is not something you just play with. And if you're not doing it to be the best you can be, what are we doing here?
No Vader. No Vader. What? No Vader.
And if you're not doing it to be the best you can be, what are we doing here?
comedy show and not a comedian show.